just got into a fight with Jake.
Like the Muslim Metaphysician, Jake?
Yeah.
What'd you get into a fight about?
Well, I thought he was being hella dishonest.
Sure.
He doesn't know. This idiot doesn't know what its internal
Hear what I
critique
said,
is.
Joe?
He's
Yeah,
stupid.
and I'm showing
I
you
think he
that
did
if
a
you
good
try to
job of
do an
showing
internal
critiquing
critique in
you.
this fashion, you have no argument.
Jeez. Yeah, Jake.
The internal critique is
Guys,
that your view is extremely
guys,
morally abhorrent to most people.
Oh,
Like, that
that's
would be
not an
the
internal critique.
pause.
that.
And I think that is true. So what Jake said is good. So the better, first of all, the better, we're gonna have to, we don't agree necessarily on what better is, because what God wants out of something and what we think is good aren't necessarily going to be the same. I would say almost certainly are not going to be the same. But
Yeah, basically what he said, Haiti, was that I'll even grant that it's logically possible, but how does it then lead to that it would be better?
right, and that was my original concern.
Well, look, if you want to say that God doesn't think a world without little children dying of cancer would not be better, I mean, you can say that.
Right, but that's not the only consideration.
You might have to give a reason, right?
Right. Yeah.
It seems
Maybe
like,
someone would have to give a reason why it's better, Haiti. Wouldn't you think?
because typically when little children die of cancer, we get sad.
Right.
And it causes a lot of suffering and misery. And again, if God doesn't care about that, then just bite that bullet.
Yeah, no, and that's the answer to that is that he does.
Yeah, but what about
on
balance? On
right.
balance, it would have been replaced by something
Agreed.
else that would have had a similar outcome.
Yeah, but why would we accept
Right.
that? God is omnipotent, as I said.
No, but why would you reject it, though? What's the argument?
The argument is, if he's omnipotent, there doesn't need to be any kind of compensatory effects or, any good that came out of it, he could affect by other means because he's omnipotent.
Yeah, I guess it depends what you mean by omnipotent, because I think you have a different concept in mind.
Right, and if you had free beings into the mix, if you have free beings into the mix, I think you're going to have some issues saying that all of these options are logically possible. I mean, there's going to be.
Well, look, you're just going to. I don't understand, right? You don't like Muslim, don't you? Well, Jake, don't you think that the question is all things being equal, not the question of it being instrumental?
Sorry, what did you say?
The question is all things being equal, not instrumental, right? The question is all things being equal, is a world without children being raped constantly better?
Yeah, I guess I'm asking, what do you mean by that?
What do I mean? Do you not, Jay? Come on, man. I know you know what that means.
No, I don't. I don't understand what you mean.
You don't know what that means.
Okay, Joe, stay on the stage. Wait.
I just want to get this on record that Jake, the Muslim metaphysician, doesn't know what it means to say all things being equal.
I'm not gonna look.
I already responded like 2 or 3 times, dude.
You can mock people later, but if he just said, "Hey, what do you mean by that?" Answer the question, please. This isn't the atheist room where you can just mock people.
Well, I just look. I'm not mocking anybody.
Answer the question, please, and have the conversation.
Yeah, I would ask the same question.
Are there any evils which aren't there for some greater good?
That's the question.
James,
the answer is no.
Jake's question.
Yeah, all things considered on these certain scenarios where everything else is equal, right?
So Jake,
you have a scenario where...
Sorry, Jovan. Go ahead, buddy.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You have scenarios, you have a position where everything else is going to be equalized. All the other variables are going to be equalized, right? So that is to say that, like, if we say all things being equal, is child rape bad, or is having a world with child rape going to be worse? We're saying that even if the child rape wasn't necessary for that particular, for like some greater good, then would it still be not would it still be not a better world, right?
I think that's the
Does
question.
it include suffering being equal?
Yeah.
Then no, wouldn't be better.
Well, my bad. I guess the suffering. Sorry. I guess we would say that their suffering is slightly increased because there's more rape.
Yeah, now I'm losing track of what your exact question was.
Yeah, it's confusing,
All
Jovan,
things being equal, it's not confusing. I know Muslim Metaphysician knows exactly what I'm saying. He's asked this exact question to other people. I've heard him.
One second. Point of
So I just
moderation.
think he's being dishonest now. It's weird.
Jovan,
Why would I be
point of moderation.
dishonest, dude?
Jovan,
I don't know. That's the weird thing. Like, I've always liked you, actually. It's just weird. I know you know what I'm saying.
Jovan, point of
Try
moderation.
Matt's slick
Have
approach.
the green bean. Hang on, look. Let's just let Muslim and Jovan go back and forth, all right? No one else jump in, please. Go
I
ahead.
just jumped in for 2 seconds to say this while he was talking to Haiti because I thought he was being weird about it. But I actually got to go, but this is extremely weird. I'd actually like to talk to you about this later in like a different room. I don't know, but whatever. Have fun.
In an atheist moderator?
Yeah, he means a room where he can, like, overtalk and mock you, Jake.
No, where I don't have a bunch of ankle biters saying I'm mocking people.
Look, when he asked you a question, you started with this, oh my, Jake, you don't know what this is? Really, Jake? You don't? I mean, he asked you a question. He wasn't being rude. He wasn't being nasty. You're the one who said that, hey, you're a nice guy to people who treat you politely, and yet you come in the room and you take a dump on the stage, Jovan. All I'm asking you, and I even told the other guys to back off, was just to have a sincere conversation. Prove that you actually can.
Is that what I stepped in?
Did you hear that? Did you hear the conversation I had with Matt Slick? You know, he invited me to his Bible group because of how nice of a discussion I had with him.
I'd just like to see you have a nice discussion one-on-one with you and Jake without any sarcasm.
Jovan has to
I think
go.
you guys could be good.
Jovan has to go, and I
just said I just jumped in for a second because I thought he was being dishonest towards Haiti, but that's all right.
But I actually asked him the same question, James, and I actually tried to help him along. By all things equal, do you mean pro toto, all things considered? He did not answer that question.
Yeah, but it's also, to me, it's going to be with respect to what exactly, right? Because presumably there has to be some type of grand goal in mind.
So
that's my major point, is that if we're saying that God's considering everything, if he's considering all factors, then you can't just taking the child.
Yeah, that was the point. The goal still gets satisfied without that. That was the point.
What's the goal, though? What's the goal?
Yeah.
It's irrelevant what the goal is.
Jovan,
no, it is relevant because I can't analyze whether or not adding or removing something is going to have any effect on whether or not the goal is fulfilled if I have no idea what the goal is.
Correct.
The goal is the greatest good.
And what's that?
Exactly.
That's whatever your view is on the greatest good.
No, yeah, because then if it's whatever my view is, then if I give you an answer to that, and then if I give you an answer to that and I say, well, yeah, my greatest good is X,
right,
and removing rape doesn't nullify that that's satisfied, then you're just going to have to grant that.
What you're saying that, yes, removing rape doesn't increase the overall badness in the world, right? Well, it doesn't increase the overall goodness in the world, right?
That's not what he said.
Wait, sorry, restate what you just said. I didn't hear you too well.
Because you're saying that the goal doesn't matter, that we could like arbitrarily fill any value that we want for that and then just ask the question. But I'm saying
he's saying whatever God's goal is. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, right. But presumably, in order to answer that question,
look, you could think, Muslim, you could
need
think
to have an answer to what the goal is.
Yeah, and you could think the goal would be raping little kids, and it would increase the overall good in your world, right?
No,
that's on you.
Okay, yeah, and
that's about what you think the goal is, not me.
Exactly.
You're asking me to do an external critique?
So now if I say that it is to rape, And so that if there
Right.
was
And
more
I'm
rape,
on. Yeah,
and
that's
if I say there
fine.
was more rape, then you would grant, and then you would just be quiet.
Yes, I would grant under your view it increased the overall. It did not increase the overall goodness in the world
Okay,
because under
alhamdulillah.
your view, more rape is better.
Okay,
Well,
good. So then you're admitting that I could arbitrarily fill anything with that, and
Yeah.
as
So
long as it
what?
satisfies, that condition or what we're talking about with respect to the goal, then you have no argument.
What?
Yeah, but you're saying rape is good. That's what you'd have to say.
Exactly, dude. So you're the one that doesn't know what the hell you're talking about because I'm
That's not.
asking a
What are you?
question.
What are you fucking
I'm
talk? Are you
asking a
stupid?
question.
Are you
No,
fucking
you're
stupid?
stupid. You're
Game over.
stupid.
Lights
I'm
out,
asking you
dude.
a
Yeah.
question
Keep saying that rape is
to
fine. Just keep saying
expose.
rape is
I'm
fine.
asking
There's
you
not
a
a problem with that.
question, and the fact that you thought it was a stupid question exposes how stupid you are.
Yeah.
And I
Keep
just
saying that
exposed
rape
you
is
right here
good,
on
and
this
there's no problem
stage.
with that.
I
Keep
just
saying that there's no
exposed it
problem
right
with
here
saying
on this
rape is
stage
good.
that I could put in any value, and you have no response.
That's
You're
not a
done.
problem. That's not a
You're done,
problem.
dude.
You idiot.
You're barbecue chicken.
Yeah, Jovan, this is not the atheist room, and plus
You've
watch
been
the F
folded
word
like a
language
chair.
He
too.
So
doesn't know. This
seriously.
idiot doesn't know what an
Did you
internal
hear what I
critique
said,
is. He's
Jovan?
Yeah,
stupid.
and I'm showing
I think
you
you
that
did
if
a
you
good
try
job
to do an
explaining.
internal critique in this fashion, you have no argument.
jeez. Yeah, Jake.
The internal critique is
Guys,
that your view is extremely
guys,
morally abhorrent to most people.
Oh,
That
that's
would be
not an
the
internal critique.
pause,
that.
pause, point of
Wow,
moderation.
dude.
Look, we're getting people jumping in. Jovan's getting heated, even though he had to go 10 minutes ago. He's staying. Let's let Jake and Jovan
No, he
go
just
through
he
this.
just conceded the discussion. He just
Sorry,
conceded.
I
James.
And
agree.
then he said he's doing an internal critique, and then his explanation actually entails an external critique.
That's correct.
So you're the dumbass, dude. You don't know what you're talking about.
I understand, Jake, that he did just
No, I'm just
concede.
saying, dude, I can have a nice conversation, but if you want to talk to me and like that and call me dishonest, I'm not going to pat you on the back. You're messing with the
That's
wrong person, dude.
all right. Jake and Jovan, everyone else stay muted. But Jovan, if you do say things like that to Jake, Jake will hit back. Maybe he has to
I think
pretend.
he's afraid of responding now. He's quiet as
I
a
think
No,
ghost
he,
just
now.
leave it, dude. Just leave it. It's fine. Just leave it.
Yeah, I
No, I
hope we
just
can
put that
talk
in
now,
there
James,
because
because I
that's
really
what
want to
Jovan
comment.
does.
well, no, the thing though,
I'd really
Andrew,
like to.
hold on, look, Andrew. The thing is that like I asked like several times in the middle of this so that there wouldn't like be any confusion or Jovan couldn't, claim something else. Like he accused people like jumping in and then he didn't get to talk. Like you guys gave Jovan an out by continuously jumping in when I asked you guys not to. So if it's just a point of moderation that, hey, let's have two people talk for a moment, let's just have the two people talk and then others can join
No,
in.
I actually did let them talk, James, but then there's a point it just game over, lights out, dude, and that's when I did speak. As you can see, Jovan's not responding. If he had something substantive to say, I certainly would have let them
Oh,
go.
I'm
But
not saying
it's over,
Jovan, are
dude.
you even
now.
there anymore?
I'm just saying in the conversation, I I was addressing to Andrew, not to pick on him, but in the conversation several times, Andrew like unmuted and jumped in the middle, and I was just trying to get it to one on one so people could follow.
Yeah, I wanted to say too, though, James, adding to that, what you're talking about. Yeah, it seems to be a bit of carnage here with so many people trying to jump in. However, Jovan needs to be reminded, not 10 times, but Jovan needs to be reminded of where he is at. You're not going to get away with oh, you're an effing idiot, Jake, blah, 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 blah. This is not the atheist room. We don't do that here. So that's your warning. And if I hear it again, I'm just not going to jump in and interrupt him. So send you down.
Yeah,
He left, but
he
I do
left.
support kicking him after the warning. Like he should know.
Can I?
Just to confirm for you, so Jovan really didn't have to leave. Jovan ran from you, and he is now in the atheist room complaining and crying about the conversation.
I think, yeah,
Wow.
I think what just happened there was very, I think Jake just
That's
decisively
that's
showed what was wrong.
embarrassing, 80. Like Jovan should be thoroughly embarrassed. He said he had to go, like pretending he had to do something, and now he's in the other room.
Well, now Haiti left, so
Well,
yeah. I mean, it
Well,
was
what?
pretty clear because he said, well, I'm just doing an internal critique, and then most people would have like some moral problem with that, and I'm saying, oh, dude, that's not an internal critique at that point. Now you're doing an external critique based on some other type of moral
right.
standard when you were
Yeah.
just granting me it before. And when I said that, and I did get angry because I simply, in a calm tone, asked him a
Right.
question for clarification. He went off and called me
Yeah.
dishonest. I'm saying, what the hell,
Yeah,
dude?
that was weird.
I just asked you a question.
Yeah,
And
that was
then
weird.
and then when I said that to him, he folded. He was completely silent because he knew he
Well, what Jake said was very prophetic, though, Jake. You just delivered a prophecy that came to pass. When you told Jovan at the end of that discussion, you said, "You're done." Well, what happened? He was done. He left. He took off. So that was very prophetic of you to say that.
Johnny. But I would say, and Haiti, it would be good, Haiti, because I think this is good. I mean, because this does show integrity. You do realize that what Jovan just said was totally vacuous, right? I mean, because you were kind of on board with him at first, it seemed, and then you kind of jumped off board because I think you realized what he was saying was totally fallacious. Okay.
She might have a
but
different
yeah.
view. You never
Oh,
know.
go ahead, John.
No, I'm just saying sometimes just because you and I and everyone else agrees on something, it is very possible that she has a different perspective.
Oh, I would like to hear it. I just don't even think there's any way out of what Jake said, and I totally resonated with and agreed with everything that he said. It was very strange because he was saying, "You're cutting out, John.
You're breaking up, John. Yeah, you're breaking up, John.
You're breaking up. Yeah.
Yeah, what Jake said, what Jake said came to pass. He said, "You're done," and he was. So that's, man, I don't know, Jake. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was very strange too because he came at Jake saying he was dishonest, and then and that's pretty offensive. And Jake was still pretty fair with him, and then he kept pressing him and just saying how he wanted to get it on record, how ridiculous what Jake was saying.
I'm like, fight with the wrong guy. I mean, Jake is right there. Look, I know my limitations. There's certain things I would not try to fight Jake on. Jake was right. Jovan came in and he picked a fight with the wrong guy. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure Jake would grant he's fallible, but but in this particular back and forth, I mean, that was just explicitly fallacious. That was very bad, and it was strange because he was like, well, you can just pick what. Okay, well, I can just pick it. Well, I'm saying, how about I say whatever's good is what God thinks is good, and I don't know what he thinks about all this stuff. So whatever's going on is good. It was just really weird. It was really weird. But yeah, no, I appreciated that very much, James. I am sorry. It is true. I did unmute a few times. I was originally talking to Haiti, and I also felt like other people were like Haiti was saying some stuff and some other stuff was being said, and I just wanted to affirm what Jake was saying. I kind of wanted to stop the hostility because I'm like, Jovan, this is crazy, man, what you're saying. I just wanted to stop talking, really.
Well, the thing is, though, is that like if I've got the green bean and I'm trying to moderate.
You're right, James. You're right.
Also,
here's the thing. Like I think that Haiti should go in the other room where Jovan is excessively crying to the other atheists about this interaction and tell him that it looks really bad that he put his tail between his legs, ran away when I was going to let it be between him and Jake, and pretended like he had something to do. This is just too funny.
Yeah, but also, James, I apologize for interjecting as well, but I was trying to say, listen, kind of like in a very concise way, that you had a perfectly good conversation with Matt Slick yesterday, in a sense that you didn't attack him, you didn't come at him hard with guns blazing, coming up to the stage and trying to go at him. That's what you did with Jake, and so Jake's just not going to stand there and turn the other cheek, obviously.
Yeah,
I mean, I just asked him a question calmly. I didn't mean to like totally derail the conversation with Haiti and Andrew, but he started questioning me, and then I asked him a question calmly, and he just called me dishonest and started doing this grandstanding thing. And I'm like, dude, what the hell? I was just trying
Right.
to get clarification on it. Like, what?
No, well, but before that, Jake, he got triggered by what you said. He posted it in the chat and then raised his hand
Do
to
you guys want
confront
to
you.
hear this is a serious meltdown by Jovan. I think, Jake, whatever you caught him with was so devastating that he had to pretend to leave the room and has been coping for the last 15 minutes now.
You're cutting out, John. Haiti, are you able to speak on what happened there? Because I'm pretty astonished right now, honestly.
But he
But
can't
you were
cut.
giving him the stage, James. You were giving him the stage. It wasn't like he could say, "Oh, I was overtalked and shut down, and they just, sent me down." You gave him the stage, and what happened? Jake whooped his ass, and he then took off, went back to his little conclave to ask his atheist friends to help doctor his wounds. That's what it was.
Yeah, and he said that he mentioned me as somebody heckling him. I just told him to not use obscenities, or that he can't talk to people like he does in the other rooms. Look, that's the difference between subjective.
He doesn't know. This idiot doesn't know what its internal critique is. He's
Yeah,
stupid.
and I'm showing
I
you
think he
that
did
if
a
you
good
try to
job
do an
explaining.
internal critique in this fashion, you have no argument.
Jeez. Yeah, Jake.
The internal critique is
Guys,
that your view is extremely
guys,
morally abhorrent to most people.
Oh,
That
that's
would be
not an
the
internal critique.
pause.
that.
Let Jake and Jovan
No, he
go
just
through
he
this.
just conceded the discussion. He just
Sorry
conceded.
to get
And then
crazy.
he said he's doing an internal critique, and then his explanation actually entails an external critique.
That's
Saying, dude, I can have a nice conversation, but if you want to talk to me and like that and call me dishonest, I'm not going to pat you on the back. You're messing with the
That's
wrong
good.
person, dude.
All right, Jake and Jovan, everyone else stay muted. But Jovan, if you do say things like that to Jake, Jake will hit back. Maybe he has to
I think
pretend.
he's afraid of responding now. He's quiet as
I
a
think
No,
mouse.
just